All right, welcome back to Worst Seats in the House. Michael Russo live from the Italian Riviera. One day before we're going to the French Riviera. We are coming from Santa Margherita. Anthony LaPanta, Michael Russo, Worst Seats in the House. Our next live show, Anthony, July 20th at Elsie's in Minneapolis. So it'll be just as thrilling as the Italian Riviera.
It'll be close. We won't have as good a crowd. I know that.
Yeah.
Got a great group with us this year. It's been fun so far, and looking forward to. I think they've been saving up questions until now.
Yeah, definitely. 47 of our closest friends are spending this Friday night here in this pod before hitting the town here and having a great Italian meal. Anthony, today some of us went to Portofino, some of us went to Cinque Terre, some did both. You went to Cinque Terre, went to a pesto making contest, and people told me there was a big story that happened up there. I thought clearly that the instructor was going to tell you that this is the worst pesto that's ever been made.
No,
but apparently it's funnier than that.
Well, yeah, I think so. We had the pesto was great, and the experience was great, and I think my pesto was really good actually. But unfortunately, nobody will know because I accidentally left it in a gelato shop in the next town over. So the pesto will have to just live in the little sample taste that we had ourselves. It was fun. I had pesto all over myself, my face, the pole for our canopy. Got a little bit on Simon and Patty because I had basil spraying everywhere while I was making this pesto.
The biggest thing I learned from this entire trip is that pesto doesn't just have to be green. Peter, our local guide on pretty much every tour we've ever done, taught us that.
Yeah, although he doesn't really know what he's talking about.
Is that right? Did that turn out to be wrong?
Yeah, we've proven that to be true. He was trying to tell me that the way we made it was wrong today. And this is the birthplace of pesto. That's why we went to this place. And it was great. But the other part of so while I was in a full sweat because I was working so hard to make pesto, Simon Schwab, one of our guests, was busy dancing with the Australian women at the table behind us and actually won a dance contest at the pesto making thing. And I don't know what he won, but he got a bag of like pasta or something, I think, wasn't it? What was it? What did you win? No, we all got wine. What did you win in the bag? He got pasta. We all got wine for tying for first in the pesto contest, apparently. But unfortunately, my wine is in the same gelato shop because it was in the bag with my pesto. So
and didn't you lose all your swag too?
Yeah, I did. A couple aprons and I don't know what else was in the bag.
Kind of shocked that you haven't gone back there.
It was considered for about a second, and then we just decided to let it go. But Margot, you'll notice, hasn't made it down here yet. I think she's still angry about the loss of the pesto and the aprons. And we're sampling great Barolo tonight with the fans here because we stopped at Docio.
That was amazing.
In Piedmont and Barolo country yesterday. So I thought the pesto was going to be a great accompaniment for this. We were going to sample it. It was going to be terrific. Have a little bread, some pesto, and instead... all we have to remember is the video of Simon dancing with the Australian guests at the table next to us.
Yeah. This has been an amazing trip so far. Started off in Como. We all had travel delays getting here. Some more than others. I was on a 7-hour one. You were on a couple hours. And then, so we went to Como, went to Bellagio, Verona yesterday. Went to the great winery that you talked about. We'll discuss more of that soon. And now we're staying at an incredible hotel here in Santa Margherita. It's unbelievable how hard everybody worked the second we got here. The entire staff essentially went and brought our bags in. They've set up this incredible room for us with a bunch of different snacks over there as well. So really excited at that.
They are multitaskers because it was the same people lugging our suitcases in that were cooking us dinner and serving us wine last night.
Yeah.
So you got to be, bless you, Ken.
if you're holy crap.
Yeah. He was only allowed one question tonight. That might count as his question because he just sneezed for 30 seconds consecutively.
My God. Most people with that sneeze out loud would know to leave the room, but no.
Yeah. The rest just wish you would have left the room.
Jeez. We all have COVID right now. And just to give a little plug to this incredible hotel, because this room is awesome that they set us up in. It's a Hotel Mediterraneo Emotional something or other.
Emotional Spa.
Yeah, there you go.
I just went to the spa right before the show, so I'm emotionally stable now.
Nice, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Simon did come down there. I was doing a little workout before I went to the sauna and relaxing pools. Simon did try one set of ab wheels. I think he did 3, and I don't think his abs even started to flinch, and he gave up and just jumped in the pool. So he's not emotionally stable.
No, exactly. And how was that place down there?
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sauna's hot. It was great. They had they had a Turkish bath and then had a couple different temperature pools. It was great.
Yeah.
The women were really confused with what was happening down there. They thought I was nuts, and then thought it was really strange that I walked upstairs without shoes on because I didn't want to put my wet feet back in my gym shoes.
And it was only about 95 degrees out today with humidity, so it was kind of a sauna.
It was about 105 down there.
So besides the pesto, what else did you guys do today in Cinque Terre?
Cinque Terre was great. We nearly saw a brawl between Peter and our local guide. That was entertaining for those of us that were there. As for those that don't know, Peter's our guide on almost every trip. He's from Austria, but he's a European history savant, and about 60% or so of the stories he tells turn out to be true. But in each of these cities, we pick up a local guide, and today we had a guide. We were required to have a guide in Cinque Terre, the 5 cities, and she was great and was really just trying to help us. But Peter had a better idea of where we should go, where we were supposed to go, which way the trail led, which way the next city was, what time the train left. And she just kept shaking her head, "Mamma mia, and
it must be something about Peter, because today in Portofino, Matteo wanted to take us on a little tour, and he said if I was Peter, we would go up those stairs right there, but instead we're going to do the easy way here.
Right. Well, and those of us who took Peter's first hike on this trip, the first day in Como, it was an easy nice little walk, 20-minute walk, about 20 minutes, maybe more, maybe less, but quite nice. Well, it turned out to be a 45-degree angle mountain climb up to the top of this chapel, and it was maybe 20 minutes, but it was the hardest 20-minute walk I've ever had in my life. And it was, let's just say his description of it might have been a little off. But then while we were at the top and we were discussing the history of Como and the lake, he got into an argument up there with some local about where Mussolini was captured and where he was killed. And the term fascism, he thought it came from sweeping the crap off the sidewalk. And she said, no, it's from the twine that holds a broom together or something like that. But it was, again, it was about 60% of his story was accurate. Mussolini did pass through Como one time, and the house he pointed to turned out he never lived there. But this gal that was entertaining to watch.
And this was just some random person?
Yeah, a random person who said, as she's listening to him tell us the story, and apparently she listened for long enough and then finally just said, "I have to tell you, I'm from here, I'm local, and that's not right." Yeah. And so that part was great. And
oh my God.
Yeah. Then we had, so here a similar story to what you experienced today with Matteo, who's our guide on this trip. Matteo's been awesome. But this morning there was a little mishap with Margot. She left her phone in the hotel as our group was walking to the train station. I don't think Margot's here yet, so she can't refute my story. She wouldn't refute this. I said, "I'll run back to get it." So I ran back to the room to get her phone. And then I realized the flaw in my plan was that I didn't know where the train station was, but I thought I'll just track Margot, but I couldn't track her because I had her phone. So, and we didn't have a ton of time. We had left the hotel, I think with 18 minutes or something to get to the train station. And I had now run back to the hotel. So I went to Google Maps. I looked train station, hoping there was only one. And then it had a path. And then it had another path that said 1 minute slower. I knew for sure that would be the path Peter would be leading the group on. So I followed the 1 minute slower path, and sure enough, I caught the group halfway to the train station. Yeah. Now Peter had a reason for it. He said that path didn't go up steps, so he took the longer route he always has a reason. But we did take the night before he had tried to walk us home from a place in Como, and would have taken us about a half a mile out of our way just so that we could walk along the water for an extra block. But he always has a reason, and we love Peter. Peter's stories are a big part of this trip, but it's fun to watch him interact with the local guides. And
it is kind of funny that the Austrian is telling us about Italian history on the bus.
Right. Yeah.
And
Peter,
we saw him do you want to come up and defend yourself or not?
We saw him.
At home, he said whatever.
Yeah. We also saw him just randomly today go up to a hose along the beach of the Mediterranean and decide he was too hot, so he's going to hose himself down and take a shower with his clothes on. And what was that thing around your neck? Is that a radio or?
It's a fan.
Oh, a fan? Is it waterproof? I guess we know it isn't now because he like hosed himself down with this thing around his neck. All right, perfect.
All right.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to the rest of the trip and see what Peter has in store for us. We'll see how much he knows about French history when we get to the French Riviera.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the Austrians ruled it for a big chunk of history. The Habsburgs were probably there.
What do you? It is amazing how quick this trip is going. Besides me taking you to the Monte Carlo Casino, which I've been talking about for a year. What else are you looking forward to the rest of the trip?
Well, I am looking forward to that. We have another vineyard tour left.
Yep.
Looking forward to that.
French winery. You don't know a lot about French wine.
It's
one of the few things you don't know about.
There's a lot of things I don't. The only wine I know about is in this country shaped like a boot. So once we leave these boundaries, I'm right there with the rest of us.
Are you going to talk to people in you do know French? That might be the first thing we have to cut out of the podcast.
No, I think it's fine.
Save Anthony from himself.
I won't tell that story. We'll tell that story later when the microphones are off.
You know who we did run into, or I did? It was Ilya Brizgalov at the airport the other day. Yeah. He was on, coincidentally, your flight out of Philly that was delayed 2 hours.
Yeah, a couple of our guests were right next to him on the plane, I think.
So all of a sudden, I see Brizgalov, and I came running up to him, and he introduced me to his family. He's out on an Italian vacation right now as well. Just got his final check from the Philadelphia Flyers. Just remember he was bought out. Might have been bought out before he even got to Minnesota, if I remember correctly, right?
I think he was.
Yeah, so he just got his final check from the Flyers. So he's apparently on a little bit of a trip. Reminding me of the story in Phoenix. I don't know if you want to tell that one.
Yeah, we can tell that one. It was
we were at the Yard House.
Ilya was having no, that's a different story. The Brizgalov story was that he was having a tough morning skate.
Yes.
But
we were talking about it at lunch at the Yard House.
We were, but at morning skate we were watching him, and it might have been a 50-50 proposition on a shot on goal whether he'd make a save. And on the blocker side, it was 5 out of 6 were going in. And so then when we were at lunch, we were like, was anybody else watching that? And a couple people, yes, I was watching that. And I said, I tell you what, if he makes a blocker save tonight, I'm going to make it sound like the biggest save in NHL history.
And the point of this, it was going to be an inside joke too, because at the old Glendale Arena where the Coyotes used to play, the broadcast booth is literally above the visiting media,
right?
So
above
we could hear
writers.
Everything that Anthony, and I can't remember who your color
guy was. Greenlay at the time.
Yeah, okay.
So about a minute and a half into the game, somebody from the Coyotes flips one in from the neutral zone, and Brizgalov
just
knocks
puts it in the
blocker into the corner.
Like it had to be a 25-mile-per-hour
right.
flip in.
And I just blocker save Brizgalov, and Russo and the other writers look back. They're rolling laughing because we had talked about it at lunch. I immediately get a text from Margot like, "What in the world is what?" Like,
and then I look at my Twitter account back when I had TweetDeck, and it was like I could see everything the fans were saying, and they were all discussing like, "What the hell was LaPanta doing?" Like that was a nothing like thing, and it was all because of that. So I haven't told Briz that story, so hopefully he's not listening to the podcast. So you had the 2-hour delay because of weather, right?
It was bad weather in Philadelphia.
Dude, you wouldn't believe what we went through. So I don't even know if we told you the story. So we board normal time and we get on this plane, and there's probably about a dozen of us coming early, and immediately we all sit down. We're taking off at 7:55, and the pilot gets on at 7:55 and goes, "There's a fuel issue right now. They haven't fueled us. We're ready to go up here. It'll be about 15 minutes." So right away, Ken and I, who are seasoned travelers in Delta One,
did he sneeze all over you?
No, he did. So Ken and I right away knew we were in trouble because there's no 15-minute thing, and then it's just an hour. 2 hours, every 15, 20 minutes, the pilot's getting on, giving us update, no update. Yeah, it was unbelievable. Leslie, who's on our trip, was fast asleep for like 4 hours during this. Like, I was convinced that when we finally woke her up, she was going to think that we were in Milan.
I like the way Leslie travels.
Yeah, I know. Like,
that's how I like to travel.
Every time I got up and I was like having a restless moment, I look at Leslie and she's just out, and I was like, made me even more pissed. So all of a sudden, like, I go on Twitter and I notice this is not just us. Okay, this is like the entire airport. And then finally, the pilot comes on and says it's a fuel pump issue with the entire airport, and we have no update. So now, all of a sudden, now I decide I'm going to try to go to sleep. I'm woken up by them putting fuel into our plane. And so now I'm like, all right, this is good news. All of a sudden,
when you go to sleep, is it for more or less than 15 minutes?
About 15 minutes. Yeah. I don't know how long I was out before the. When they're fueling a plane, you're hearing all sorts of commotion below the plane. Next thing you know, the pilot comes on and tells us that Delta has a rule that when food is on an aircraft for more than 4 hours, you have to take a measurement of it. Well, it turns out the food's too hot. We got to recater the aircraft. It's going to be 2 hours, but we think that's optimistic. So right away, Ken and I, so the whole time Ken and I, because I'm on the J side, he's on the other aisle, we're texting all along about we are at this point know that we're going to have this crew timeout. Like, it's so obvious that that we are not leaving Boston. Finally, he just walks up to the mic and says, "We've decided," and this is an hour, we knew that we had to take off by 2 a.m. or the flight crew had to time out. So he makes the announcement that we're going to call in fatigue, that we're not getting out. So they cancel our aircraft. We deplane. Everybody gets off. They send everybody at the gate. Essentially, go to baggage claim and go to the transfer desk, and we'll rebook you. So I'm calling Delta. I'm on the phone, and the guy that I'm on the phone with keeps on telling me, "I'm just telling you, your plane is not canceled. I shouldn't take you off this, because if I take you off it, you're not getting back on." And I said, "Well, can you protect me?" So he puts me on this Atlanta-Milan flight the next day, but no way to get to Atlanta because everybody at the airport essentially wound up going to this Atlanta flight. But he's like, "I'm not going to take you off this plane because I'm telling you that your flight is not canceled." So right there, I go up to the red coat, and they get a call from dispatch that they're canceling the Lisbon flight. The Lisbon flight crew is going to come over, and now it's panic at the desk because they realize they just sent 200 people outside the airport and now have to get them back through security. And I'm texting now everybody I know that's on our plane that I have the number for, and I'm like, "Our flight's not canceled. You need to get back here right away." Longer story short, finally we took off at 3 a.m.
Yeah, we should make a note that these were the people who chose not to fly with the defined destinations
That's
flight.
true, because we wanted an extra.
Because those of us who flew on the defined destinations flight were just fine.
Yeah. So anyway, we all missed our day in Milan, but we all went early because we wanted a day in Milan, and that turned out to be one fruitless endeavor. My mom did get there on time from her flight to Atlanta, and she went alone to the Duomo.
Well, she's a more expert traveler than you.
I was super proud of her that she went alone to the Duomo. So there we go. All right, let's talk Simon. By the way, Simon's already breaking the rule. I told him you can't ask questions from the crowd because people at home can't hear.
How many F-words did Ken say when you were delayed?
Ken, well, we did get off the plane, and Michael Kenny did say to Ken, "Are you Delta One?" And he goes, "Of course I am."
Yeah.
So that was the best part of it.
I bet he wasn't Delta One on the flight.
The other funny thing that happened is, so they have a Delta One lounge at that airport and a Delta Sky Club. So we all go up there, but the four of us that were in Delta, it was four of us. It was you, me, and the Bornsteins. And I feel like it was just us four. So all of a sudden they go left and we just go right into like a 5-star meal 3-course dinner before the flight. And I didn't eat because I figured we're going to eat on the plane. And then next thing you know, at 3 a.m., we still haven't eaten. So
I was still just
getting
thinking
here.
at the start of your story about Leslie being able to sleep, because I can relate to that. I like it. But Margot's still not in here, I don't think. So I can tell this story too. I got in trouble today on the train ride from Cinque Terre, which was, what was it, like 35 minutes, something like that? I think I slept for 34 minutes and 15 seconds maybe. And other than the 45 seconds when she elbowed me in the middle of the ride saying, "You are snoring and people around you are bothered." No. And it doesn't take me very long to fall asleep. So I love people who travel like I do. Get in the seat, close your eyes, and let her rip.
You've heard me talk about the Onyx Hunt app on here for years. Well, make sure you download the Onyx Fish app as well, because before you even pull the boat out of the garage, you can sort lakes by species, trophy potential, and keeper potential, so you're not just guessing and you're going out with a plan. You could also use the Onyx Fish app to filter walleye, bass, panfish, whatever you're chasing, and see species abundance and size data so you actually know what's in the lake before you launch. Everything you need to get there and get on fish is all in one app. Boat ramps, lake access points, public versus private land, points of interest like bait shops and camping. It's all built into the app. No more scrambling around 3 different apps or outdated reports. Onyx Fish gives you the proven fishing area data and local insights that used to take years to learn. So you could do a decade of knowledge all in about 10 minutes. So download Onyx Fish on the App Store or visit onyxmaps.com/fish. Spring fishing is here. Go find a lake you've been driving past for years and finally find out if it's worth the launch.
I've talked about Lucy before because my friends keep telling me it's their new go-to pouch. Well, here's the update. Now it's even easier to try because you can grab Lucy at Quick Trip. A bunch of them have tried them all, and now Lucy is their new go-to. They call them top-notch lip pillows, and honestly, they say it's the best pouch experience they've ever had. The flavors are strong and actually last. Mint, apple ice, mango, espresso, berry citrus, and apple cider. Not sure where to start? Grab the 6-pack and try them all. And the real difference is Lucy breakers. Each pouch has a little breaker ball inside. Bite it, and you get an extra burst of flavor with a smooth nicotine kick that lasts longer. Lucy is smooth, long-lasting, and doesn't dry out. Give them a try. Get 20% off your first order when you buy online at lucy.co/worstseats with promo code worstseats. That's lucy.co/worstseats with promo code worstseats. And if you don't want to wait, check out their store locator to find where you can pick up Lucy at your nearest Quick Trip today. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every customer is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
All right, let's talk hockey. People at home have waited 21 minutes for that, and I've skipped ahead, I'm guessing. Really, since the last podcast, literally nothing has happened. I think Damon Hunt signed a 1-year, $900,000 deal. Brian will be excited to know that all restricted free agents have been re-signed as of today. Caden Bankier, David Spacek, and Carson Lambos, all 1-year deals. So everything's good there. Anything else?
No, but there has been some big news around the league in terms of that affect the Wild and affect every other team in the league. The big one being the Leo Carlson offer sheet that then the Ducks had to match. But boy, I mean, you think about how that changed the landscape. Simon, you're not welcome up here yet. You can sit here, but you have to be quiet. So this will be interesting. Yeah. Everybody who's been traveling with this guy knows there's a limit to the silence here. I mean, this is the longest he's been quiet since I've known him, which has been 30 years, 35 years. But anyway, I do think that's interesting to note because that has changed the landscape of the NHL there are a lot of teams that a few that got, I don't want to say lucky because I think a lot of people were prepared for it, but it was some of those contracts that were signed right before this offer sheet now look like the most brilliant deals in the NHL.
Yeah, you think Ivan Demidov is really happy today when he just signed?
Think about all of them. And Nico Hischier's deal. I mean, you name it. The contracts that were just signed now suddenly are the value of those is totally different after the market has now been reset.
How about Matt Boldy's deal from several years ago? I mean, it is interesting because now Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli, again, offer sheets, the player has to be willing to sign that. But the one thing that changed with this is, and I do think a lot of this, I don't think this was strictly payback for Cutter Gauthier because everything that we were hearing before this offer sheet was that Philadelphia was thinking about the same thing for Maverick Bork, and and I would say that when that didn't go through because Dallas traded him to Nashville and they re-signed him, they pivoted. But I think they were very happy knowing this would probably be matched by Anaheim, knowing that they just screwed up their salary structure, made them dump about $39 million in a calendar year. And now they've put themselves in a position where they really now have to, with Cutter Gauthier, coincidentally, after he had a 40-goal season, they're going to have to either change the complexion of their team by trading guys off of it or penny pinch with him. And that's going to be really fascinating to watch.
But I think the bigger thing is that what this sets as the precedent, because we've talked a lot about how with the cap going up, these off seasons are different than what you ever could have predicted in the past. And now I think teams are realizing that, like in Philadelphia's case, we'd be better off with this player than 4 number 1 picks because of the fact that right now, having any cost certainty in a world where the cap is going to continue to go up and talent certainty instead of taking a shot at 4 number 1s. I think you're going to see more teams use this as a tool just because it's why not? The odds of the draft pick working out are much slimmer than knowing what you have in the player.
No doubt. And the one thing here is like this isn't just Philadelphia changing the complexion of the league. I mean, this started with Kirill Kaprizov's contract. Let's be honest. The structure that they use is very much like the Wild structure. I mean, it's a buyout-proof contract. The only difference is Leo Carlsson's way, way, way younger than Kirill Kaprizov and is only a 5-year term where Kirill is 8 years at 29 years old, essentially. And it's going to be, it's just going to be really fascinating how this changes everything now. And it's now made Leo an $18 million player. And let's be honest, he's not that player yet. It's a projection contract. It now changes
a projection contract, but also like a portion of the cap contract.
Yes.
Where by the time it's at the end, it's a smaller percentage as the cap continues to go up. And at the very beginning, it's a huge number.
Yeah. It is apples and oranges because it's a different position. These aren't Group 2 contracts, but it changes everything with Quinn and Cale Makar this offseason too. So we'll see where all that goes. Simon, you've been quiet long enough.
Yep.
Goalies. You can say it. Simon
You got to talk into
Simon
the mic.
says goalies. That's a great question, Simon. Simon says goalies.
There you go.
What's the question?
What are we doing with the goalies?
How many beers are you in today? That beer is the size of a wine bottle.
No, and this is not the first one, as I can attest to that.
Yeah.
It isn't really even a question. Are you talking about one of the Wild?
With the goalies?
They
Are
have.
we getting rid of Gus? Are we getting
No.
rid of somebody?
No, we have.
Garrett going to the ESPYs?
No, he's not going to the ESPYs. In fact, yesterday he didn't even know they were nominated. So what are they doing with the goalies? They signed Calvin Pickard.
Yeah, Calvin Pickard will be the backup at the start of the season, and otherwise it'll be the same. It'll be the 2 Swedes, and Pickard will be the third, and they're in a good spot with goaltending.
Yeah, they are in a good spot as long as he comes back healthy. I mean, they need Philip to push Jesper. I saw a picture of Jesper recently. He looks like he's having a good offseason, so that's good too. Looks like he's in shape. Matt Boldy is definitely having a good offseason. He's in the ACC championship today in a threesome with the Kachuk brothers. Somebody on X actually tweeted at me that he's inside the ropes with Boldy today, so that is pretty fun. Has an incredible USA hockey bag as well, super sharp. George, we haven't mentioned that we have incredible law enforcement.
We do. We are very safe on this trip.
Yeah, we brought 2 retired cops to act as our bodyguards on this trip. So George is one of them. Can we say where you're from or don't say where you're from? Yep, Savage, Minnesota. Yep. I don't know if that's where you're from, but that was your municipality. And then we have somebody from Rhode Island, and we know that they're.
You'll be able to tell if you hear his voice in a little
exactly.
while. It won't be a mystery.
Yeah.
By the way, I appreciate that you carry the podcast equipment and I don't have to.
Yeah.
But somebody's going to teach you how to put cords away when the show is over.
Okay. You can.
All right.
Just one question, but it has 2 parts. First part, why haven't you started following me on Twitter yet? I have the best name on Twitter. And second part, what does the Leo Carlsson contract mean for Quinn Hughes? And if we have the money to sign him.
You want to tell Anthony your Twitter names?
Yeah, I don't know what your Twitter thing is.
My Twitter name is Retired Ginger Cop.
Okay. I don't know if I follow very many people on Twitter. I can look.
Just Ken Cutler.
I for sure don't follow him, but I don't remember. I don't remember the last time I added a follower, but let's see here. I follow 60 people, and I'll bet you like 40 of them are people that don't tweet. Yeah. Oh, did you? Well, just send it to me. I did. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry about that.
I think
did I respond? No. Oh, sorry. Damn it. All right. I will from now on. Now you have my text. Now just text me and we'll go play golf. Yeah, I was just looking at the people I do follow, and like 5 of them are my kids, a couple of my neighbors. I only follow 50, and I'm sure a few of these aren't even on Twitter anymore. I might have to clean that up. We'll work on that tonight. But the I don't know that it affects Quinn's number.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, Quinn was
especially if he's going on a 3-year deal. I mean, I guess they could go 3 times 18, but I mean, I think if there was going to be a 3-year deal, they wanted to go lower, which makes sense because he would be able to hit another home run contract at age 30, essentially. But I mean, a lot of it is going to be them working with the agent. I mean, Quinn is well aware that they're trying to trade for Dylan Larkin. He's well aware that they're trying to make the team better. And every penny you ask, makes it harder. I mean, just look at this offseason. This offseason has been dictated by the fact that they gave Kirill $17 million last year. Then they felt like they had to prioritize Michael McCarron. So they don't have infinite amount of money. They know they got to give Quinn a ton of money. So that changes a lot of things. They do have some players coming off the books next year. But I mean, look, I think Quinn is more dictated by Cale Makar, and right now there's a dynamic very similar to last offseason with all the forwards that are available. Quinn and him are kind of, I don't want to say working together, but their contracts are very much aligned on on where they're going to go with this. So I don't know if Leo Carlsson changes everything. He's got a really reasonable agent. He's reasonable, but he's got to get paid. He's the second best defenseman in the National Hockey League. So
I think it just changes it changes the trade market for other players.
Yeah. And should we be concerned that Brian put on his glasses?
I am concerned that all of a sudden I had this sense that there was like somebody looking over my shoulder. And I turned around. I mean, so Brian is a good friend of ours. He's been on a lot of these trips. Has one of the largest melons I've ever seen. Like I can't believe he found a hat big enough for that thing. We've proven it with a face plant on a window in Budapest one time that I'm surprised the window survived. But he's got his glasses on and a lot of notes. So I might just hand him the microphone and go to the bar. I'll be back in a while.
Brian, by the way, is on day 20. Like we're on day 4 or 5. He's on day 27. Our first night when we had what I like to call a team dinner. When we had a welcome dinner at our hotel in Como, they were at separate tables, him and his beloved Karen, and the reason why was because Karen said we're on day 23 of our trip, so they were at different tables. So, all right, Brian.
All right, you ready, Brian? All right.
He's got a list. Oh boy.
So, 84 games is the new schedule. Playing time. Everybody gets angst about the fourth line and who's on the fourth line. And they play like 6.5 minutes a game. And then we got other guys playing 30 minutes a game. We got other guys forwards playing 23 minutes a game. How do they change that on the team so when they get to the playoffs, they've got something left?
Well, I think they are going to cut back on minutes. I do. And I think they're not the only team that's looking at it that way. But I don't think that really had an impact on the playoffs. I don't think it was a team that ran out of gas. They just got hurt. And the fourth line plays more than 6 minutes, but they don't play more than 10 a lot of nights.
The
bigger
issue,
a lot of teams,
to Brian's point, though, might be on the blue line because I do feel like
They
Quinn
played
and
too
Brock
much.
got tired. And
Yep.
a lot of it, as to your point, is that they got hurt. So Brodeen's out, and then Middleton and Spurgeon were struggling dramatically. So then, if you don't play the heck out of Brock and Quinn, now you're playing the heck out of, I don't even remember, Bogosian. Bogosian was on one leg. Petrie came in. Who was the lefty? Because
Damon
Middleton.
Hunt.
Oh, Damon Hunt, because Middleton moved up.
But it was all like the whole league had, because of the condensed schedule, the injury numbers were up all across the league.
It is fascinating. The two healthiest teams in the league wound up in the Stanley Cup final together.
Yeah, and Vegas was healthy until the final.
Yep.
And then they got banged up a little bit. But I do think there are, and the Wild aren't the only team that is looking at this year saying we have to rest guys more often. We have to scale back minutes more often. But the other thing is it's 84 games, but they're also moving the start time up almost 2 weeks. So the season gets spread out a little more. There's more off days. There aren't as many. This year there were so many 3 games in 4 nights, 4 games in 6 nights. Next year there's going to be fewer of those.
I'm excited about the bye week coming back.
Yeah, I'm good to see you got a little hydration there, so now you can ask your next question.
Is there any chance they take Eck off the power play because he gets beat so bad in front of the net to have him healthy at the end of the year?
No. He's still one of the best net front guys in the league. And, it's like, I feel like I'm not talking out of turn here, but I was shooting the breeze with Bill Guerin recently, and he even said to me, because he sees that fans are worried that could they trade Eck? That I've probably speculated, would they ever even put him in the Larkin deal? And he goes, you know what? 1 year he's not going to be hurt come playoff time, and we're going to be all the better for it. You're not trading a guy that has such a incredibly good contract with that much term left. But I don't think you could take him off the number one power play when they have such a great power play just because of that risk. And remember, he got hurt this year, not because he just wiped out in the corner, not on an even strength shift, So I don't see it. I think what would be more interesting, Anthony, is if they get Larkin, how do they align stuff? Now, I think it's probably easier with Zuccarello gone because you probably put Dylan Larkin in the bumper because he's one of the best bumpers in the league, and now you let Kirill and Boldy kind of roam around.
The other thing about Eriksson Ek is he was the only legit face-off guy they had for most of the season.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it might now maybe that can change a little with some of the additions they had late. Right, you could, and even you watch the way that Carolina used Jordan Stahl, who was a great face-off guy, but not necessarily a great power play guy. And if he won the first draw, he'd stay on the ice. If he didn't, he'd head to the bench immediately. And maybe they'd start to do something like that with guys like McCarron or Nick Foligno or something like that with guys who are more have had more success on the faceoff dot.
Yeah, that's a good question for John Hines next time we talk to him. If they would ever consider that.
That's a surprise.
Do you think at any point that they've regretted Kaprizov in the last 6 months?
We have different opinions because I think no.
I think that I don't think they regret it, but I think they are not happy with the way he's playing. I think that's a big reason why Zuccarello is leaving. Anthony's point last week on the podcast about Zuccarello's, Kirill's numbers with Zuccarello being roughly the same with everybody else, where Zuccarello's numbers were vastly better with Kirill, but vastly worse with everybody else. I think that has more to do with it. The one thing I will say, I don't look, these are human beings. There's no doubt internally they're like, wow, if we said no to Kirill and traded him, we'd be flush with cap space, flush with prospects. We'd have a chance to get in on these other guys. But the other side of that is that one reason why, Quinn Hughes wants to stay in Minnesota, one reason why Dylan Larkin wants to come to Minnesota, one reason why Brady Tkachuk considered Minnesota is because they see this team as a really, really good team, not just because of Boldy, Faber, and Quinn, but because of guys like Kirill. But it is interesting, hindsight being 2020. If they had traded Kirill, they'd have a ton of cap space. They'd have other
They'd have some other assets, but just look at this year's free agent pool and say, all right, you have more money.
Yeah,
there wasn't anybody worth going to get.
All these 40 trades that happened in the month of June, they would have definitely been able to get.
Right, you might have been able to if you had the assets to trade in addition to the cap.
Let's be honest. If Larkin wanted to come here now, they would have the assets probably to make that trade. Right now, they are still thinking that there is a path to Larkin, but I still think that the only path to Larkin is if he just says, I only want to come to Minnesota, and eventually Steve Yzerman says, there's no way I can have the captain come back wanting to be traded, or they find a third team.
And that's interesting. I wanted to ask you what you thought about that, because to me, this feels like, and we don't know what's going on in these negotiations, but Billy has made it clear from minute one that he is always, I put my best offer on the table and that's it. He's said that in deals. He's proven it in deals. So he's clearly made what he thinks is the Wild's best offer. And Steve Yzerman is saying that's not enough.
Yeah.
But at some point, one of them has to blink. And the reason Guerin would blink would be, do I think my team is better this year than it was last year without making this trade, without throwing another piece in? And for Yzerman, I think that point you just made is the interesting one. Like, this isn't something from which they can recover, like Werenski's situation in Columbus, where they cleared up it wasn't a trade request. It was just, I'm not sure about. Then he comes out and says, I want to stay here. Well, what do you do if your captain has said, I want to be traded, and made it public? I want to be traded. Here are the teams.
Yeah,
that's tough. I don't know how they come back from that.
I think the Wild are really, really hoping that just Dylan just continues on his path, that he wants to come to those three teams, knowing that most likely Vegas and Florida are out right now. If he expands his teams and you start adding a bigger pool, it makes it tougher for the Wild. But, it's not like Steve Yzerman is just going to suddenly fall in love with Danilo Urov overnight. Clearly, that hasn't moved the needle for him yet. So, like as I said a podcast or two ago, the Wild don't even know what they have in Danilo Urov, so you can't blame Steve Yzerman for not wanting to give away his captain. That's a stud for a couple of future first round picks and Danilo Urov. So there you go.
Should we really let Brian ask another question?
Sure.
I mean, do you think you're looking for a co-host fee here or something?
I need some money.
Well, you're retired. You've been in Italy for a month.
Okay. Just a little cleanup on the bus.
You're not getting a piece of this.
I know, but I just had a little cleanup on the bus.
All right.
People in the front of the bus go off the front of the bus.
Yes.
People in the back of the bus go off the back door. I'm sick of people on the front of the bus coming to the back door. All right. And I got one last question.
Yeah.
I got one.
Full disclosure, I asked Brian to make that announcement because it's driving him and I freaking crazy that we are back of this hot bus watching the front of the bus go out the middle door. You have it's like people that are in coach going to the first class bathroom.
Well, what is there like a line of demarcation? Like,
yes.
How many rows up?
The first half of the bus goes out the first door.
Well, you're right, but where's the line?
The second half of the bus goes out the middle door.
At the door? So If you're one row in front of the door, you're supposed to walk all the way to the front?
Yes.
Yeah, I disagree with that. But, and I can say I'm not one of the culprits. I don't walk to the back door, but
I'm pretty sure it's Dawn.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got that hashed out. I mean, we should have Peter do a diagram of where people should leave the bus. We got a whole bunch of other people with questions. So.
I got a Koivu question.
All
right. Last question for Brian.
I'm just here so Ken can't get the mic.
That's
appreciated. Are they ever thinking of taking down Koivu's number from the ceiling?
No.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Poor Ken. You got to get on an actual line here, Ken. You're getting skipped.
Hey, it's Russo for Aquarius Home Services. Yes, we all love summer. That is until your air conditioner decides it wants to take the summer off. If your AC is running nonstop, blowing warm air, or making sounds that definitely weren't in the owner's manual, now's the time to do something about it. Whether it's a $79 AC tune-up, a repair to get you up and running, or it's finally time to trade in and trade up to a new cooling system, Aquarius has you covered. And right now, when you upgrade, you'll get an additional $500 off on top of their summer sale pricing. We're talking savings of up to $3,500 total on a new heating and cooling system, because nobody wants to spend the summer wondering if tonight's the night the AC finally gives in. Stay cool, comfortable, and ready for whatever summer throws your way with a reliable, energy-efficient cooling system from Aquarius. Schedule your appointment today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended. And don't forget to tell them Russo sent you. Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We could switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us even switch our favorite sports teams. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you could switch and save with Tony Hoagland State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Tony Hoagland and his team can switch you over so you can start saving today. If you thought your last homeowner's insurance renewal was really high, or it's been a while since you reviewed your coverages, Tony and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. With Tony and his team, it's easy to switch and save. You can reach out to Tony's office at 763-421-4900 to start saving today. Again, that's 763-421-4900. A great haircut is always a mood booster, but it's even better when it's convenient too. That's why you'll love online check-in at Great Clips. You just check in from your phone and get a ready next text when you're up next. Plus, with the convenient hours at Great Clips salons, you can get a haircut even when you're really busy. So if your hair and your mood could use a boost, download the app today. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Tim,
How you guys doing tonight?
good.
All I really want to say is I'm thankful that Anthony got hired for the Minnesota Wild to broadcast for us.
How many drinks are you in today? Holy crap.
No.
We have kids that listen to this show, Tim.
I know. I know. I get emotional, okay?
Yeah.
But no, I'm serious. I'm glad that happened. Michael, you're great for writing with them. You both you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Now, are we going to get Larkin?
I feel like we've talked about him on this podcast. So they feel.
I know.
Yeah, you've been doing sign language with Simon, and like you're not paying attention.
It's kind of what I do.
Like so. Yeah. They feel like there's a path. They're hoping that he continues to say that he'll come here, but I still think. I still think we got to get some food into some of these people.
Perhaps somebody should go get a few bottles of water and start passing them around the room.
Full disclosure, Anthony and I bought a lot of wine and served it before the show, and that might have been a bad idea.
And the Docio vineyard we went to was awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
They were terrific.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys are, you are enjoying the wine we brought.
All right. Patrick, who just turned 20 a couple days ago.
Of course, he's not having any wine.
No. Actually, he's allowed wine. This is we're in Europe.
Only this week on the trip.
Yeah.
So my question is more to, we touched on Zuccarello leaving. Is Billy and John Hines worried at all about Zuccarello, Tarasenko, and JoJo leaving and the lots of scoring from non-Boldy and Kirill?
Probably a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think the numbers that Michael referenced earlier about Zuccarello, I thought were interesting when we looked at them. And we looked at, I know we talk about analytics a lot, but the expected goals when Kaprizov was with Zuccarello compared to when he was without him, the difference was minuscule. He went from like 55.5 to 54.9 or something like that. But for Zuccarello, it was, when he was with Kirill, it was 54.9. When he was without him, it was like 42. So I don't know that he's going to be as difficult to replace as just saying who's going to score 60 points. Because there might be somebody else who benefits from just being on Kirill's line all year. Not to diminish what Zuccarello did in any way, but I don't think it's quite as big a difference as just saying you have to come up with 150 points because these guys, you're going to have guys who play more minutes, get power play time, play with Kirill, play with Boldy. There's going to be some guys who will score more just because of where they are in the lineup. But they do have to replace some scoring.
Yeah, a lot will have to do with like Shabanov. Like this kid was sort of hand delivered to the Wild by Kirill's agent. It's not as simplistic as that, but he wanted to change his scenery in New York. He's a super skilled guy from Russia.
I don't really remember him much when we played the Islanders.
Well, I don't even know if he played because he only played half the games and didn't play in a top 6 role or top 9 role. They have high hopes for him. I asked Billy on the Zoom with him after free agency if it's a stupid, simple thing to say he's Zuccarello's replacement. And I didn't mean it literally like he's going to go on there and get 60 assists with Kirill. But could he get a real good shot on that top line? Or if he has a really good camp, could you throw him on the second line and put Boldy on the first line? And then we know that Boldy and Kirill could get the puck to each other. So there's a lot of things that they could do, but it will be the one thing that will be interesting is if they don't make a trade by the start of next season, and obviously they'll bring in probably some guys that maybe don't have jobs on PTOs. Maybe it's a line, maybe Vladdy doesn't get a job. Who knows? But I guess my whole thing is like, I think Billy's got to look at this team with a little bit of concern and trepidation. And, obviously we learned last season that he could be patient and try to make a trade at some point next season, but there might need to be help brought in here before the start of next season. And the question is, what internal improvement could they have? Could Danila take the next step in his career? Could Hunter Haight earn a job on the team? All those type of things. Anthony.
Yeah, and I had a couple of people that had reached out to me talking about, I don't know if it's pronounced Shabanov or Shabanov, I don't remember, but they were talking about that this guy was such a prolific scorer in the KHL, and he was, but it's such a different world there. I mean, I think the year he finished third in the league, I think it was like Josh Levo led the league in scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy who was like a fourth line fringe AHL, NHL player. So it's not apples to apples to say the guy scored there so we can score in the NHL, but they seem optimistic about him and that he might have some upside. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Patrick, that was a good question because you kind of took mine on me, and then Michael went further on it with the.
Can we say what your job is?
Yeah, sure.
This is Mike, Delta pilot. One of my favorite people. I love talking to pilots and police officers, and we're filled with them on this trip.
Yeah, I was not super impressed with the fuel delay. I've never seen that one before,
Yeah,
but it happens, I guess. Apparently, never happened to me yet, but
yeah. Well, I will say. Oh, the one thing, the long story short, then the Lisbon pilots get on and tell us that what happened was this has been a problem all day at Logan.
yeah, we got a little more clear picture.
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
second
We didn't
crew
know
than
what
we
was
did the
going
first
on. It
crew.
seemed like he knew more than our pilots, but they essentially had to defuel everybody in the entire airport and put fuel on it, created domino throughout the day.
Yeah,
this was a Boston Logan issue.
Yes, it was very much just the
food issue seemed to be
that might have been a Delta issue there, but that's all right. It happens. So kind of as Patrick said, we were worried about the secondary scoring. If we put Boldy and Kaprizov in the same line, are we going to get that same cohesion with somebody else? Also, I mean, do we want to keep running with Hartman as like the number one center for Kaprizov? I mean, Urov is showing signs. Clearly, he's got a little more to go. I mean, maybe there'll be a new Russian connection with Shabanov, however we're pronouncing that. Not sure.
The problem with putting Urov there is you got to win draws, and if he doesn't come back appreciably better, you can't have your top line center winning 30% of his draws. It's not fair to Kirill.
Can Billy hire Koivu to come back and teach people how to do draws and kiss?
That's why his number's in the rafters,
right?
Yeah, they want somehow, some way to keep Boldy and Kaprizov apart for the lion's share of games, knowing that they always have in their back pocket that they can throw them together. But I don't think you can legitimately expect to be a contender, make a run if I don't know what the percentage of your scoring would come from that line if you put those two together. 50%. I don't see that as a long-term recipe for success.
Tammy, who both her sons work in hockey.
Yes, they do. One for the junior team in Sioux Falls and the other for the ECHL team in Atlanta.
And hopefully one day the NHL team in Atlanta.
That's right. That's right. And that's why
it's why he's got to put in his time and be patient.
That's right. And that's why I know so much about hockey.
Yes.
Is because of them. But, last year I saw something on, I guess it was Facebook, that Kirill had been signed before Michael even knew it. And I was told later on that wasn't true, but I think I kind of got your heart rate up.
We were in Barcelona having tapas, right? And all of a sudden she tells me that she just saw the Kirill sign, and I'm in like no man's land. And all of a sudden we looked at, I can't even remember who the player was, but we looked it up, and it was just a Iowa guy that looked like
He kind of looked like Kirill. That's why I thought it was him.
Yeah. So thanks for that.
But so now
we only had to wait 3 more months for him to actually sign.
Well, and now I have to tell you, you didn't hear the scoop first either. I just read on Facebook again today that
Quinn signed?
That Quinn signed for $18 million for 3 years.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you don't know about that.
Yeah, I know.
Yet.
I'm definitely have not seen that yet. So that's your question.
It's good that
Thanks
we
for
can
coming.
have some of our guests break news for you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks. I'm just quickly looking at X to make sure. So, any other questions before I throw a couple X questions on here? Oh yeah, we haven't had Ken up here yet.
Anthony followed me, but you haven't yet
What?
on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Let's wait for that.
Okay.
That might be the first guy that I follow that you don't.
No, I'll follow you after. Counselor, and we
boy.
do have an.
We know that there was a limit imposed, one question, and what was it, 30 seconds we allowed him that the question has to be completed in 30 seconds.
You know, he's really tried so hard to keep me away. I can't remember if he put a belt around me that prevented me from coming up or what, but
You're lucky that we don't have you wearing a mask right now after that sneeze. So.
So first of all, this will be a two-part question. So that's one question, right, Anthony?
I'm looking at my clock.
Okay, so first of all, have the offer sheets essentially replaced the July 1 free agency? And number two, are any of our veterans actually on the trade block?
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends what you want. The veterans on the bottom six. I mean, they have a lot of them now. I mean, Trenyon is on the trade block. Sturm is on the trade block. They feel like if they can get Larkin, that they could trade their way into cap compliance. That's the only thing I can tell you. I think they could probably trade them now if they want to, but those trades would be probably salary dumps or thrown into those type of trades. And so I don't think that it would be for a player. So right now they're just they're hanging on to him. So that's really your only question? Yeah. Oh, the first one, the two-parter. The one thing I will say is I think what this is going to show everybody now is that you can't do what Pat Verbeek did anymore. You got to get ahead of your group twos. A lot of people have in the last couple of years. A lot of teams haven't. And so, San Jose is lucky that Celebrini is not offer sheet eligible. Bedard technically is. Fantelli technically is. There's no evidence to say either of them want to leave their current situations. But if they're having trouble signing with their current teams, sometimes you're using that other team to just get your deal done. That's what somebody asked me last week on the podcast, Anthony. If the Wild had the stones to offer sheet Leo Carlsson, and I said all you're doing in that case is negotiating the contract for the other team and screwing up the salary capture. And there's been very rare in the NHL that an offer sheet hasn't been made where there hasn't been payback eventually. Carolina did it with Kokoniemi. I think they regret that now. When Montreal did it with Aho, but it's been that way for centuries. Is now will it become more common where you don't get back? But I mean, there most times there's payback, so it's still considered, an act of war.
Yeah. A little,
yeah.
Well,
but this also changes the league too.
Right.
Like I guarantee you, there's a lot of GMs that are also not happy right now with the Flyers, because it changes everything.
Yeah, I think what replaces free agency is more teams signing their guys to longer term contracts earlier in their careers because they want cost certainty. So they're willing to say, "Hey, let's give this guy 8 years right or 7 years right now if we can, just because the cap is going to continue to go up. So by year 3, this is going to be a bargain." And therefore, there just weren't free agents out there. And that might continue. And teams might just start to say offer sheets is the best path to try to acquire somebody. You really can't. I don't think teams can do it just to initiate a war or for payback or thing. I mean, I think the risk is too high.
Yeah. Although I think the Flyers are perfectly delighted after the way that Cutter Gauthier, basically forced his way off that team. Because the byproduct of this now with Anaheim is that now Cutter Gauthier, his contract either has to be lower than he wants, or they're going to have to trade guys to become, compliant. Patrick, last question of the show. We'll throw a couple X questions out there and then let everybody go on with their incredible last night here in Santa Margarita.
For sure. Just touching on the offer sheets again, was there any thought of Anaheim to just take the 4 picks and then re-offer sheet either Fantilli or Bedard?
Well, again, maybe they made those calls to their agents and they were told Fantilli has no desire to
Yeah,
do
I
something
mean,
like
the
that.
player has to
Yeah.
sign the offer sheet
Yeah.
too. It's not just a team can offer it and there's the offer sheet.
Yeah.
The player has to sign it.
Exactly. All right. Jimmy wants to know margarita pizza, culinary delight or just lazy pizza? We'll bring that to the crowd. What do you think? Great pizza.
Yeah. If it's at the right place, it's terrific pizza.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Somebody says, Anthony, you're taking too many vacations.
Well,
It's just because you're on the golf course a lot.
no. Well, I've been to Italy twice now this year. I've been lucky.
Yep. I know you really can't answer this any definitively, but any update on TV broadcast plans with the Wild? I could tell you that I talked to them literally 2 days ago in Como for a while, and it's still nothing's finalized. Everything could be changed. I think it's well known. We've talked that they're trying to go with a linear thing with everything from streaming over the air to cable, but nothing's definitive, right?
Not
than
yet.
we think that you're the play-by-play guy.
I hope so.
If you're not, Joe
yeah,
O'Donnell's
right.
hosting this
that's
podcast
true.
next year.
No, you've talked to him more recently than I have, which I know is not a shock to anybody in the room. But I think it's going to be finalized soon. They're going their own route with taking the broadcast over in-house, and I think they'll have all the details. I think an announcement is probably coming pretty soon. I thought it would be done by now.
Yeah.
We're getting up against it. I mean, it's 2 months and a week away from a preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, I think, a lot later than they were hoping to have all of this resolved.
Yep. This person asks, any word on Patrick Laine and the Wild? Before free agency, I thought the Wild had interest in him. Right now, I think they backed out even before free agency started. They really never pursued him. Obviously, if he's unsigned come August, maybe things change if they feel like they need another
Do you
scorer.
think his opinion has changed about coming to Minnesota?
No. Well, if he doesn't have a job, maybe.
Yeah.
Think
'Cause remember a
Tarasenko-
couple of years ago,
Yeah.
he didn't want to come to Minnesota and chose Montreal instead, as if he was saying like they're closer to contending than Minnesota was.
Yep. Let's see. Two more. With all the player GMs and executives, who's your guess for most likely to turn executive from ex-players? What characteristics makes for a good player to turn executive?
You're talking about current players?
With all players, GMs, and executives, who's your guess? I don't know. Foligno? Walls would do it. You would have done it by now.
Yeah,
I did send Walls a picture of my key to this hotel because it's his old uniform number, and he's been.
Oh, perfect! Now everybody knows what room to charge their drinks. But you have to know Walls' number to do it. So
yeah, exactly.
I would assume everybody in this room's got that down.
Last question of the show, and we actually this is an interesting one, and hopefully you're probably not up to date with this. Thoughts on the Canes Cup engravings? Have you seen this yet?
No.
So Tom Dundon not only put his name on the cup, but his wife and all of his kids. There are 7 Dundons on the cup.
Oh boy.
Left equipment trainers off that have been there forever. And obviously, look, it is up to the owner, but it still's got to be approved by the NHL and the Hockey Hall of Fame. But this is an iconic cup, and I don't care if you're the owner of the team. You don't own this cup. It is absurd to me.
Did none of them have a role with the team?
None of them. Like the Violas,
Yeah,
like
then
his
that's
kids aren't. They are
ridiculous.
technically they have jobs with the team. That there have been situations before where that has happened, but this is absurd. I mean, he has grade schoolers on the Stanley Cup. It's beyond belief.
Yeah.
So there's my thoughts.
I agree with your thoughts.
Yeah, Ken, I know you don't like that. All right, awesome. Well, thanks for everybody for coming on this trip. It always is amazing. Thanks for Michael Kenny and Define Destinations for putting it on. We're doing a Croatia yacht tour next year, and we're pretty much sold out. So
close.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Once the dolls
Boy,
sign
if
up,
you're
we'll be sold out.
Yeah. The doll. We have there is a contingency that was discussed last night. Do you want to share it?
No.
It was an agreement. The dolls were there. We had an agreement.
No, it's not happening.
We'll leave that for discussion later. But But not only we want to thank all the people coming to the podcast has become one of the highlights of this trip to just get a chance to chat with everybody on these. We usually do it at the end. We're in the middle this time, but thank all of you guys for coming and hanging out and chatting wild hockey in the middle of the summer. That's great.
That's awesome. Even though it's unbelievably hot, but it'll be a lot cooler in Croatia. That was awesome. By the way, some of those yachts on the water today were just spectacular. Yeah. So I cannot wait to get to Monaco and see some of the yachts in that marina. I did look up Craig Leopold's yacht, and it is down in Sicily right now.
But there are some times where you have had limited success when being the guy that was the advanced planner.
Yeah, but I'm
say that. No, I'm just
saying I've already advanced planned for our day off. We're going to the Monte Carlo casino.
That's going to be part of my question.
Yeah,
is because when it's been your responsibility to pick a place, to make reservations, whatever, sometimes details fall through the cracks. In this case, you've wanted to go to this casino, and you were supposed to research the dress code to make sure that we brought.
Yeah, I don't think that you need a sports coat anymore.
Well, yeah, but don't think. You have to know.
Yeah, as long as we go before 2, before 2, we can wear even. Can we wear shorts? I think before 2. Right. After 2, you just have to dress
as long as you've.
We are going. Margot is very excited about this. She is. That I'm taking you to the Monte Carlo casino.
Well, I'm excited about it too, but I have a limited confidence that we might show up at the door and all of a sudden the guy says, wait, you can't come in dressed like that.
Then we'll go find something else to do in Monaco.
All right.
There we go. July 20th is our next live show. That is at Elsie's at 7 p.m. So hopefully everybody coming on out or we could have a reunion of this group. That'll be awesome. Oh, yeah, Brian Dahl. So did you know this? So in Bellagio the other day, so there's a very funny joke. We think it's funny. Karen didn't think it's very funny. That's Brian's significant other. Where in Sicily 4 years ago, she got locked in the bathroom, and Brian's
that in Budapest.
No, that was in Sicily.
Oh,
at the beach town, and where was it?
The window is in Budapest. Yeah,
the Budapest. Right. Yeah, the dolls always have something.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
So Karen didn't have her phone. Brian didn't realize that Karen had been missing for 20 minutes. So karma, because we've been joking.
She was locked in a bathroom.
4 years. She was locked in a bathroom.
Right.
4 years later, apparently, I wasn't there, but in Bellagio yesterday, 2 days ago, Brian got stuck in the bathroom.
And, well, I mean, you'd think after 23 days in Italy, you'd know how to get in and out of bathrooms effectively.
Exactly. All right, thanks to our incredible sponsors, Aquarius Home Services, your local authorized dealer for Connecticut water treatment systems, Onyx Maps, Lucy Nicotine Pouches, State Farm by Tony Hoagland, and Great Clips. Thanks, everybody.
So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world